Alright, so what's up guys? Welcome to the Emphatically Nomadic YouTube channel. Today I wanted to show you how to harvest and process cinnamon. So here in Hawaii we're living on an off-grid property where we do have a cinnamon tree here. Commonly cinnamon grows in Southeast Asia. That's the Kasha cinnamon, which is a little more potent and a little cheaper to harvest. I think this is Ceylon cinnamon, which is actually a little more expensive. And the way that you know the difference, the Kasha cinnamon usually grows in a bush. And the bark will curl right off a Kasha bush, and you can actually just take it from there. So the Ceylon is a little different. What you're going to do is actually, you're going to take a branch that's maybe 2 or 3 inches thick. You want to make sure it's living, and what you do is you scrape off the outer bark, and then inside of that is actually the inner bark, which is what the cinnamon is. And today we're going to show you how to harvest and process some of the branches so that you too can make your own cinnamon. Let's get to it. So, got our big branch all trimmed up. I'm a little winded. It's a lot of work. Basically, I'm just using standard industrial wood saw. You probably want a good pruning saw to actually cut this. Cinnamon wood is a very hard wood, so the better saw you have, the easier it's going to be. I didn't have one of those laying around, so this is the next best thing. And you need to take off a lot of the little branches. A pair of clips is always good to have. This is a really good branch here. As you can see, there's a lot of moss on it. This just scrapes right off. And what we're going to do is get behind it. And as you can see here, there's a lot of blonde wood. That's where our cinnamon is. So, as you can see here, taking off all the outer bark of the cinnamon branch. And here, I started to actually score it and pull off some of the inner bark. So when you're looking for a good branch to use, you want to make sure that you have enough of a inner bark to actually harvest from. This was a good thick branch here, so a lot of the inner bark was actually pretty well grown. This is what a scored piece of inner bark looks like. And you can actually take a bite of this at this stage, and it tastes pretty good. So really what we're doing here to pull off the inner bark, so we're just kind of scoring along the edge here, maybe a centimeter deep or so, and then just kind of chiseling our way underneath. So this is probably the most difficult process of harvesting cinnamon. There's a little bit of a sticky underside. It's not too bad, but that's how you'll know where the inner bark meets the inner blonde part, which you don't want to harvest. For the most part, all this pink stuff here is what you're kind of looking for to dry out. You just want to keep the knife almost parallel to the bark when you're scraping, and it should just come right off. After about a week of drying our cinnamon in the sun here, they have all pretty much dried up into these nice tubes here. And from this point, what you'll do is take a microplane or a coffee grinder or even a mortar and pestle, and you'll throw it in and make your powder that way. Each stick of cinnamon equals about a half teaspoon of powder. So that is how you harvest and process cinnamon.